We've got the best smiles. I think Sudanese people have the best smiles. Sorry, I'm very biased. But I think we have the best smiles, honestly.
We're very kind people, we're very generous people. Hospitality, in my opinion, was born in Sudan.
Sorry, every other country in the world. We win that one.
Like, what connects you to Sudan? Like what?
So I was raised there. I was raised in Sudan, and I hold it's very dear to me. That's where all my memories are cherished. Sorry, the noise over there.
But yeah, our family's still back there. We still have love for Sudan. We visit it as much as we can. Obviously, right now we can't.
It's our home.
But yeah, it's where we're from. It's our home.
For nearly a year and a half, Sudan's army has been locked in a brutal civil war with a militia known as the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF.
Sudan's civil war has left tens of thousands dead and displaced millions.
The fighting is very intense in our area. There's no food there. We have nothing to eat.
So in Sudan, I try and picture it for all your viewers that are visual learners. We don't have like houses like you'll have a house here. It has like a roof and you go in and you have 2 floors and the rooms and everything. Over there we have like something that's called a hush. So all the Sudanese people watching will know what that is. So basically there's a big main door, you open it and there's like a big landing area, like kind of like this area, right? Big landing area, and every home has that. And it's like traditionally where, at night when it's cool, everyone drags their bed out into that landing area and sleeps under the stars, right? So it's beautiful. And then when it's the morning, everyone takes it back, and then people just sit there during the afternoon, evening, chatting, reminiscing. Another thing that's quite unique is it's not like nuclear homes where, it's just your immediate family. Actually, it's like a larger thing. So it's like, the house we grew up in was my grandma, her kids, their kids. So you can imagine.
Big
a lot of people, So we didn't have like our own bedrooms or anything. Like one night I'd sleep in, me and my cousins would be in the same room, and then the next night I'd be in another room somewhere else. So that's how it was. And we'd walk out to school, and people thought it was a nursery because there was like 11 kids walking out to school every day. And they'd be like, "Oh, can we sign our kids up to this nursery?" And my mum would be like, "It's not a nursery. They're all the same age. They just all happen to be the same age."
What is your story?
Every single member of my extended family has been displaced, meaning their life has forever changed. The only saving grace they have is Sudani culture and the Sudani community. The lifestyle is very basic, so everyone has welcomed each other into their homes. That's what's allowed them to have shelter, allowed them to eat meals, allowed them to sustain themselves. Otherwise, I don't know where they would be, because their homes have been destroyed and looted. They've had to flee because they are people of peace. They are Muslim people, so they want Salam peace. And so every single member of my family, imagine that, life has changed forever. From my grandma to the newborn cousins. So that's my story. Every single member of my family, life has changed forever. So it's not about statistics, it's about real human impact. Imagine what that means for me and my immediate family in this country. And everyone in our extended family is just suffering. Do you know what I
mean? Growing up there, I have family there, I have friends there, so I have a soul connection to Sudan. And I always will.
I've been in the UK for 6 or 7 years, but I'm in top shift on the situation of Sudan because I work as a physician. I'm a doctor in the healthcare system here.
I've been here since 2019 because of the bad situation in Sudan.
I am from Sudan.
When did you move to
Born and raised. I've moved 6 years ago.
Yeah, I'm from Sudan. It's my country.
Well, we're from Sudan. Well, we've got family who still live there. He was born there.
I was born in Sudan.
It is the word disaster. You cannot describe the situation. Everywhere people are suffering, and even in the cities where there is some sort of stability, there is overcrowded. So, and the system is not enough to help and support the moved or displaced people.
It was really tragic to see at the beginning of the war, my family, specifically my mum's side, trying to escape the war. My aunt was like 8 months pregnant, almost 9 months pregnant, trying to escape, and both my grandparents were really, really old with like a bunch of kids with them, and they had to travel throughout the whole country from Khartoum, which is basically the center of Sudan, all the way to the north to get to Egypt and cross the border border, and that took almost around a week. Through it, the bus broke down, they were investigated by terrorists, and the RSF stopped them multiple times, just so they can try kidnap some children, get some like grown adults to join their terrorist group. And within that, we were terrified that something was going to happen to the kids or to people from our family. And you've been able to see it firsthand. Our houses have been destroyed, and what we once called home and what was something exciting to go back to during the summer is no longer there, and it's taken over by the RSF. So, yeah.
A UN humanitarian official deployed there, described in fashion. A UN official in a professional capacity described the capital of the region of Darfur as hell on earth for the 1.8 million residents and internally displaced people there who are currently encircled by the RSF militia and their imminent risk of famine. 1.8 million people, hell on earth for all of them.
My brother's sister, like wife's family, her family got their house got broken into, and because of what? Because of some thieves, people who wanted just to steal like stuff, random stuff. At this point, it's not a matter of ruling. It's just it's a sea of thieves. Just people just robbing stuff. Yeah. There is no and people dying for no apparent reason. Children are dying, houses are burned, valuables being stolen. A lot of people's sweat, blood, and tears have been taken from their houses, and they cannot do anything because of some people, some warlords.
I think even initially the coverage was all it's a civil war, but actually it's been well proven. It's probably one of the biggest proxy wars going on at the moment, and that's a major thing that needs to be highlighted, because the reason is people walk by on the streets and see these protests. The reason they feel disconnected, and I loved your question earlier about what our connection is, the reason they feel disconnected is because it's not personal to them. So it's very personal to me, right? Their pain and the suffering, but it's not personal to them, so they feel a bit disconnected. So sometimes you can't even blame people for just idling by, living their lives. But I think one big thing that they need to know is it's not a civil war. Actually, the UK, the US, the UAE, Russia, they're very, very, very complicit. I mean, I saw someone right the other day, Sudan and Palestine, that, taxpayers' money is going to fund weapons that are killing innocent people. You know what I mean? Like, we're working hard, 9 to 5. The people walking past me here living their lives, they're working hard, paying taxes. Those taxes are going towards weapons that are killing innocent people, you know? There's a connection, you have a connection. So I think that's really important to not forget that it's actually not a civil war.
Right now we're trying to call for governments to pressure both sides to stop the fighting. That's first and foremost. To open humanitarian access that's currently being blocked by both sides. To open safe and legal pathways for those wanting to flee the violence in Sudan to be able to come to places like the UK, the US, Canada, wherever safe spaces where they can live in peace and safety. The same way that these governments are doing for other people that are going through conflict like Ukraine and whatnot, as well as calling for governments to stop sustaining the war. This war, the only reason that it's continued for this long is because it's being sustained by outside actors who are profiting by this. There's a reason why we are seeing Sudan on the media, so we need to start calling these people out. We need to start, recognizing how we are complicit. And we need to keep speaking up on Sudan. We need to keep showing up for Sudan. People on the ground are telling us to keep speaking up for Sudan and keep advocating for Sudan. So we in the diaspora, this is the least we can do.
It's not a war between, just more people dying, they're killing each other. It's actually, there's bigger things in play here, much bigger things in play. And that really can't be forgotten. And I think when people start to realize that and start to open up to it, they start to empathize a lot more, because they're like, actually, I have something to do with this and I can act on it, Like, look at what social media done to slow down the war in Palestine. And I think that's what the message was about Sudan as well, it being a forgotten war, because it's something that has been brushed under the carpet a little bit because people don't feel that connection to it. So I think that's the main message I want to give out there. it shouldn't be forgotten.
Acknowledge the fact that this is the worst humanitarian catastrophe right now. Over 25 million lives are at stake right now. So, you know, I just hope people can take that in, and actually grasp the fact how terrible this is. You know, how horrific and atrocious this is.
10.7 million people are displaced. No friends, no family. They had to be smuggled in to different countries, and even the countries that they are smuggled into, they don't want them. They send them either back to Sudan, or like they had to find crazy ways. Like it's a lot of crazy stories. So honestly, the stories that you hear, it fuels you, from the rape to the torture to like even our own family members. That's why I said like every single Sudanese person has been affected by this. So it's every day we wake up and we hear another story of a family member or a neighbor, and like I've done enough. Like I need to hold these people accountable. The RSF and the UAE, they're our main ops at the moment.
The innocent civilians have nothing to do with it. It is between mostly terrorist organizations and the army trying to decide who should be the leader for Sudan. After we took down our 30-year dictatorship, we were kind of left without an actual government, and within that confusion left multiple different groups stating that they wanted to lead. People are dying and people have nothing to do with it. They were bombing and coming out with arms and stuff, to the point where people were dying. They were just getting shot for walking out of their houses, which is why people started to get displaced. I think the statistic is millions of people are now displaced. There's barely anyone left in our country. It's not a country anymore, it's just a war scene. Yeah.
We need to raise the awareness about the people suffering in Sudan, about the situation, outbreak of some infectious disease because of the situation. And the other issue, before that, the situation of the healthcare system was collapsing, and now they're using even the hospitals as a military base. So we need to reflect that. We need to raise our voice to let everyone know about the situation.
Sudan is not a footnote. Sudan is something that you should be engaging in more than in just, when you're talking about other liberation movements. We need to start actually meaningfully engaging with Sudan and kind of listening and amplifying to Sudanese voices, and the voices especially of those on the ground, to maximize and kind of engage with it in the most most meaningful and most impactful way.
Well, enough is enough. What's done is done. We do not want any more of this. We do not want it from anybody. We just want peace. That's all we need. That's all we ask for. So here today, I hope that this brings light into the people.
What are your hopes and dreams for Sudan?
For it to go back to what it was and even better.
And better, even.
Yeah, and better. For my kids in the future to be able to see the country and know what it is, rather than just hearing stories from it. Yeah.
Just to get someone to talk about it, actually talk about it, and like not just like leave it as is, because a lot of people are impacted from that, and like they have their own lives. They want to go back to their own life, normal life that they usually have. And my hope is that someone speak up and stop all of this war. It's my country. I have all of my family there. I have my friends. I have a lot of people that I know. So it's the best there.
Oh, I just saw my mum there. She came down from Newcastle and said, proper. She said you did the people proud. That's it.
Even as Sudanese people, all we can do is make fundraisers, provide for the people back home with medical aid, and keep on raising awareness. And applying pressure on the international community and institutions. Our fight is against imperialism. Our fight is against oppression. We've been doing this for way too long, and we don't mind going for the further stretch. So
I hope of a world that you would care for your brother more than you care for yourself. You would put food in your brother's plate rather than your plate because of love. That's what I care for. That's what I hope for. Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Don't be discouraged, and there's always a cause that you can stand for.
There are things here that people here can do as well. Like I said, people are here today to, raise awareness, protest, like call on our governments as well, who are also involved in things like this, and just
make noise. We are all involved. We are all united. We can all make a difference if we all come together and step up, talk about it.
That we're all united, man, and it's the principles, humanity that unites us, and it really is as simple as that. We work backwards from there, instead of starting with really shallow points and trying to work towards humanity. Start from our common humanity, and it might seem like a wishy-washy answer, but it really is that. That's what unites everyone here. That's what's given us this strength, this force, this love, this unity.
Keep eyes on Sudan. Keep eyes on Sudan. Keep eyes on Sudan. We did not ask for anything else, but for everyone to search and look at what's happening. Get yourself educated.
What can people do at this moment?
linktree.com/Sudan Solidarity UK. Go on the top link. There is a letter to the Foreign Secretary. Tag your local MP and demand more urgent action to support the people of Fashir specifically, because they are under threat of serious violence and mass rape and ethnic cleansing right now as we speak. And for the rest of Sudan, to treat their humanitarian needs, healthcare, the disease they're suffering from, malnutrition. So go on linktree.com and keep eyes on Sudan. Keep eyes on Sudan.